Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nancy Rose. September was a fairly big month for me. I did a bit of reading, a bit of TV, a bit of movies. It was a mixture. So today I'm here to talk about the movies that I watched on Netflix. If you're a movie lover like me, stick around for the good, the bad, and definitely, definitely what's worth watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's dive in. The first movie I want to talk about is called Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone is absolutely a thrilling ride. If you are into high action, spy centric movies, this one is going to keep you glued to the screen. Gal Gadot stars as a secret agent, and she's not just kicking butt, she's pulling off some seriously cool stunts. This movie is centered around a secret agency that is working towards different projects to help the planet and help people. And of course, there's always a bad guy and a bad side that wants to take down the agency for a very good reason, or for a reason. To them, it's very good. It's got some really nice twists and turns, and it's got some betrayal in there, some searching for vengeance, some soul searching, and a bit of choosing between good and evil. Definitely worth watching. What I loved about this movie was the relentless pace. It had a really, really fast pace. The action scenes were over the top, and the storyline, while not something unique or groundbreaking, it was very fun to follow. And of course, now with everything, not everything is perfect. There are some things definitely that I felt, some parts that needed to be improved. For example, some parts were a bit predictable. But if you're in the mood for an adrenaline packed movie, it's definitely worth watching. My final verdict on the movie overall, I would give Heart of Stone a solid 7 out of 10. It's perfect for a Friday night binge when you just want to be entertained. If you loved movies like Red Notice, Mission Impossible, definitely add this one to the list. The second movie I watched is actually a fairly new movie on Netflix. It must have dropped in the month of September, and it's called Uglies. This movie is based on a best-selling dystopian novel by Scott Westerfeld. Westerfeld. Uh, Scott. um, I was curious about how Netflix would handle the book adaptation, and honestly, I have some mixed feelings. So before I start bashing it, I'll just talk about some of the positives. Visually, the world that they created was stunning. The whole premise of the society that normalizes beauty enhancements and is just so relevant today, right? With so many people undergoing different types of surgery or beauty altering procedures to make themselves what is acceptably beautiful. This is what is happening in the movie. And the ones who do not go or haven't gone through this exchange are called the uglies. The moral questions it raises make it very interesting, and it's got a really nice cast, beautiful people, good looking people. Some when you're really looking at it and when you really analyze it, of course they are called the uglies, but these are very beautiful people. I found it very funny that they're trying to convince me that these guys are the uglies, but I guess they were the natural looking ones who looked the way they looked. They were born to look before altering anything. um on the negative side, gave off wanting to be like a knockoff of the Divergent series, or the what's the name, with Jennifer Lawrence. What was the name of these movies? So it's got sort of the same theme, but they were not done to the very best, or maybe I was holding it to too high a standard, because I watched the previous movies and I loved them, and it was proper at that young adult age. And now I'm a little bit older. I don't know what the teens and kids are into now. They might have loved it, but for me, I would give it a 6 out of 10. Oh yes, The Hunger Games. It was giving off Divergent or The Hunger Games. I would give it 6 out of 10 because the storyline is nice, but I feel like the book fans might be a bit disappointed with how it was adapted into the screen. So if you liked Hunger Games, if you like Divergent, give this one a go, but manage your expectation. Watch it as this lazy watch, or if you have missed those type of movies, watch it. It will bring you back then, but your bar must not be expecting the level at which those other movies delivered. And then the third movie that I want to talk about is a little bit older, and it's called Gifted. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it was recently added onto Netflix or it's always been there, but I bumped into it. I've watched it several times. It's a movie that I love to watch. It's a drama that I love to watch, and from here now and again I go back to rewatch it. This time around I watched it with my husband because he had never watched it before. With Gifted, it's a movie that really tugs at my heartstrings. Chris Evans stars in this one as a single man raising his incredibly smart, intelligent niece. And it's got this beautiful mix of family drama. There are some heartwarming moments, the two bonding niece and uncle. And there's also a bit of tension with the grandmother who comes into the picture wanting to take custody of the baby girl. Or she was, I want to say, 6 years old. I want to say 6 years old. And there's that tension of them wanting, what were the mother's wishes. The mother wanted her to be raised in a normal way, as a normal little girl. She herself had been a prodigy, very good mathematician, so it stands to reason that this little girl is also very good at math. But when Chris enrolls the his niece into school, the school is like, oh, gifted girl, gifted girl. He tries to downplay it, but then they are the ones who involve the grandmother. They To give them credit, they wanted her to have the best schooling that they could not provide, but he knew that it was more important that she have a normal childhood than she get the top tier education that is a result of her intellect. So they sort of work it out. There's a lot that happens in them for them to work it out. The What stood out for me were the performances. Chris Evans and McKenna Grace, the little girl was McKenna Grace, who is acting as the niece. They're just phenomenal together. There's a scene where they discuss the future, and it's such a tearjerker because it's rare to find a movie where uh, it balances the emotional depth with the light-hearted feel. I would give this movie a 10 out of 10 because I've watched it several times. And if you're looking for something heartwarming and feel good, this one is for you. But get your tissues ready, because if you're feeling particularly emotional or you get invested in movies, this one will definitely my husband tug is at not your much of a heartstrings. Movie watcher, so I was trying to make sure that my husband watches everything that I consider a classic. So can you believe that he had not watched Titanic? Who on this planet has not watched the Titanic? Anyway, if you happen to be one of those few who are who have been living under a rock, I guess, or who just stayed away from it because of the hype, I would say, okay, let's talk about Titanic. Most of us have seen it. We have all cried over it. I definitely have cried with seeing all those scenes, and it's still, what I loved about it is that I was watching it now. This is a movie made in the 90s, and it is still, the quality is still amazing. I still resonate with it so much. It still holds up today. For me, watching it again was just pure nostalgia. There was something timeless about the romance between Jack and Rose, and of course, the sinking scenes were just so visually impressive. It was beautiful, beautiful to watch. I want to try and be more critical to kind of look at, okay, is it the negative aspect? So the question that came up was that, is it timeless or dated? But even though some of the dialogue was in the over the top romance feels a little dated, but that's what makes it iconic. I'm honestly reaching, because you're not watching the Titanic for realism. You're not looking, when you're looking for the great romance, because now I was looking at it and going, okay, this happened over a space of 3 4 days. What do they mean? Such a great love, such a great romance. But then again, that's what we want. That's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it is a compelling love story, and the tragedy is also compelling. Rating it, of course, if you have not already noticed, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for the nostalgia and the emotions that it evoked in me, even after so many years and so many times of watching it. It might feel a bit too long because it's over 2 hours to be too long to be watching as a rewatch, but I did not mind. It is a classic for a reason. Now, the fifth and final movie that I'm going to talk about, to lighten things up a bit and to switch things up a bit, we're going to talk about a comedy named Why Him. It's a fairly, it came out a few years ago, but it was a nice light-hearted watch, and I felt that I should talk about it as well. Um, if you're in the mood for the type of comedy that makes you laugh out loud, or slightly that's slightly awkward at certain times, this one is for you. It's really quite star-studded, and it's got amazing actors. The movie stars James Franco as this crazy tech billionaire, and there's also Bryan Cranston the Great is the overprotective father to his girlfriend. So I guess the movie itself is like the family, especially the father, is questioning, why him? There, it's the scene. It's set in the festive season where a girl invites her family, father, mother, and little brother, to come and meet her boyfriend so that they could spend the holidays together. A lot of shenanigans take place. Some of the comedy highlights are that there's like a clash between James Franco's wild and unpredictable, totally unpredictable and quirky character, and Cranston's straight-laced old school dad vibes. And there's so many awkward moments, and also quite hilarious and really funny, especially when they meet for the first time. That one, it was pure chaos, pure chaos. um Talking about, I would say, what didn't work in the movie. Sure, it's not the most original concept. You've probably seen this type of family comedy before, but Franco's eccentric energy really elevates it. I would give Why Him a 7.5 out of 10. It's perfect for laid back movie night when you just want to laugh. If you liked movies like The Internship or Meet the Parents, definitely check this one out. All right, that's a wrap on my September Netflix movie reviews. Have you watched any of these movies? If you have, what did you think? Let's chat in the comment section. I'd love to know your thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly, if any. And if you're looking for series recommendations, stay tuned because I've got a binge-worthy series video coming up next, because I also did a bit of binging in September. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I post a video. See you next time. Bye.